So we're now to blue. Acquisitions Octopus. Whenever a or equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. 3-mana 2/2 that reconfigures onto something else. I think that reconfigure ability makes this really good. Yeah.
Yeah. Because, like, those draw card creatures always good if you can, like, get in... If it happens to be a slow deck you're up against, or if you happen to get lucky with the kill spells. But, yeah, it's one of those cards you put down. If you can't use it, you just kind of wait, and then you get the guy that can go in, and boom.
Yep.
Good card.
And this is in blue, which is where we're going to see the ninjas and cards that want to be able to get in.
Yeah.
Like, this card is going to be really good. Do not underestimate. This is... I think this is, like... If you could get 2 Acquisition Octopuses, I think you could just top it at, like, 3 or 4 and be good because you're drawing that many cards.
Yeah, yeah.
Anchor to Reality. 4-mana sorcery. As the additional cost to cast the spell, sacrifice an artifact or creature. Search your library for an equipment or vehicle card. Put that card in the battlefield, then shuffle. If it has mana value less than the sacrifice permanent's mana value, scry 2. So before anyone asks, I checked. There is a common vehicle in this set that's a 7-mana 7/7.
Yeah, this card's crazy. I can't believe they made another card like this.
So, in case you're wondering what he means by card like this, there's a card called Fabricate.
Yeah.
Which, was it banned in Legacy? It's banned
I believe it.
Yeah.
I don't think... I mean, I think it is. Just because the combos you can do now are insane.
Well, I will state that this is just...
Oh, wait, not Fabricate. No. There's one that puts it onto play.
Yeah,
Fabricate's good, too. But...
Fabricate's good, but yes, there was one that's... You sacrifice an artifact and put it in play. I thought it was called Fabricate. Do you remember what it was called?
Nah, it was too old. But anyways, there's one that does that.
Yeah, it's this effect except with any artifact.
And it's 3 mana.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this one is 4 mana. It only searches for equipments or vehicles, which is a big limitation. And if you get punished for it, you scry 2. I'm not asking... For Constructed, I'm not really scared. There's just 9 of good vehicles or equipment.
And I feel like in Constructed, at 4 mana, you have an answer to everything at that point.
I will say, sacrificing artifacts or creatures is also pretty big, though.
As far as, like, cost, or as far as, like...
Being able to sacrifice creatures just makes it, like... The thing is, I will say the Scry 2 is not going to happen much, because you're probably sacrificing treasure tokens or something of that nature.
Oh, yeah.
But, there's... Like, as I said, there's a sacrifice creature deck. Exploit was a mechanic of the previous set, so blue creatures had sacrifice triggers.
Oh, it doesn't search for a creature.
Yeah.
Or equipment or vehicle.
Yeah, that was
okay, so it's less good. It's still kind of crazy, though.
Yeah.
Still kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's still pretty good. I think in Limited, you're going to need that 7-mana 7/7.
You need a big boy.
Yeah. There are big boys. And those big boys are even common. So,
yeah.
This can do it. This can be good enough in Limited. But you need to know you can do it before you pick it up.
Exactly. Yep.
Like, you don't want to rely on Anchor to Reality to get your big boy. You want to be able to play it naturally if you need to.
Mm-hmm.
Arm Guard Familiar. 2 mana, 2/1 Equipment Beast. Ward 2. And equipped creature gets +2/+1 and Ward 2. Reconfigure for 4.
Pretty good. Wish I had flying instead of ward.
Exactly.
But it's good.
So,
it's decent.
Once again, we compare it to that +2 Mace. This costs 1 more to equip, but it's a bear. It's a 2/1. You can just attack with it and be part of combat until you can reconfigure it.
Counts as an artifact. Yeah, it's decent.
Yeah.
You play it. You play it.
You play it.
Listen. You play it.
It's in your deck. Go. Go check.
I'm
a magician. Whoa! That was a Knight of Spades!
Still working on your magic, I see.
Awakened Awareness. 2 blue and X. Enchant artifact or creature. When it enters the battlefield, put X +1/+1 counters on enchant permanent. As long as the enchant permanent is a creature, as base power, toughness, 1/1.
Such a weird card.
Yeah, so it's like, it's a pseudo removal, turning a creature to a 1/1, or it's a pump spell for one of your creatures.
Yeah.
So I'm not even sure you can really call it a removal, because blue doesn't really deal damage, and it doesn't deal with any of their activated abilities or anything. It just sets the base power to
shrinks it. Yeah. I feel like you play this in Limited as like a shrink, yeah. I don't know. This is weird.
Yeah, it's really... I think it's actually best played as I turn my my ninja into like a 6/6.
Yeah.
Because we have that much mana.
Yeah.
It's such a weird effect, though.
Once in a while, it'll shrink some 8/8 though. There's like only, I haven't seen like any real big boys except for like the mythics yet. So
yeah, and well, the mythics like dying, so it's a weird card. Not constructed. Covert Technician, 3 mana, 2/4 human ninja. Ninjutsu's for only 2. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may put an artifact card with mana value less than or equal to the damage dealt from your hand onto the battlefield. Ooh. So, first off, 3 mana, 2/4. We've talked about that 4 health being valuable already.
Hella good.
Yeah.
You're holding the line.
If you don't cheat, I think for constructed we need some really good artifacts to cheat out. I don't think constructed, but I don't think you even need artifacts to cheat out to make this card good. 3 mana, 2/4 is fine enough.
Yeah, the artifact I don't even see that being that amazing.
Yeah.
Like, even if you buff it, then sure. But yeah, exactly. Like those equipments we just saw, and if you do a little more damage, the Octopus, like sure.
Yeah, but it's like this.
It's fine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good card, but the ability is like, eh.
Yeah, you play it because it's a 3 mana, 2/4.
Yeah.
It's an artifact creature, by the way.
Yep.
Discover the impossible. Look at the top instant. Look at the top 5 cards of your library. Exile one of them face down. Put the rest of the bottom of your library in a random order. You may cast the exile card without paying the spell's mana cost if it's an instant spell with mana value 2 or less. If you didn't, put that card in your hand. I feel like this has a specific target in constructed, and I don't know what that target is.
Weird.
Yeah. In limited, so there are two mana instants directly below this that I feel like we need to address before we could say whether this card is good.
Yeah. Fix one face down, rest ball in your library in a random order you may cast if it's an instant with 2 or less. So you're like digging for a certain instant?
It's a 3 mana, it's a 3 mana kind of anticipate card, but if it's, or you can use it to dig for a specific instant.
That makes sense. So like if you don't have the counter spell, you're like, well, maybe I'll get it. Like, I guess.
Yep. Yeah. And that's literally why I think it's a 3 mana. Do I get the counter spell? No. Okay, I'll just pick this big card.
Yeah.
But the question, it's like, if the counter spell is something you're hoping to get, could you not have run more counter spells? Could you not have?
Yeah. Why isn't this just a counter spell?
Yeah. You need. I feel like you need a lot more versatility in instants to make this viable. I don't see.
Yeah, it doesn't say blue instant spell. Maybe it's like a kind of a burn deck that like searching up cards and you like.
But the thing is, it's like if you get the card, if you get the instant, you don't get more card draw. You just get the instant. Like if it said,
This is I don't understand. Yeah, why is this?
If it put the card into your hand and if it was an instant of 2 or less, it casts a copy of the spell.
Yeah,
I'd be like, oh, this is pretty cool. There might be a deck around it. But the fact that it's either just cast the spell now or just fetch a card, I don't think so. Weird.
Yeah, I don't really get it.
Disruptor protocol. 2 mana instant. As an additional cost to cast this, tap an untapped artifact or pay 1, counter target spell.
Sick. I like it.
Yeah. So, for those who don't know, there's actually an interesting theme. So, cancel is a card that is this, but you have to pay 1. Counter target spell. This card is pretty darn bad. Most people never play it. And then counter spell is this card without you needing to without you needing to tap an artifact or anything. And this card is absolutely broken.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think in limited there's enough artifacts that this is pretty amazing in limited.
Yeah.
In constructed, it might get there.
And in limited, cancel's good too, so you can still play this.
Yeah.
And yeah, in constructed, I could see it getting there. Yeah, good card. I like it.
I'm hopeful. I have a blue artifact deck that I'm
How dare you be hopeful for counter spells?
Fair enough. Hopeful for counter spell specifically is like what puts you the 3rd ring of hell.
Yeah.
Essence capture. 2 mana instant counter target creature spell. Put +1/+1 counter on up to 1 target creature you control.
Oh yeah, this is old card, right?
Yep. This is an old card. And it's a good card.
Is it? I've never been able to use it well.
In limited, there's enough creatures.
Even in limited, I've never been able to use it well.
Oh.
Because normally I don't have a creature in play, and like especially if I'm holding up like 2 mana all the time, because you want to like the whole point of countering a creature spell is you're trying to like stop them from out-tempoing you, you know? So you're, like, waiting at the beginning. That's at least my experience with it. So my experience, it's, like, just hasn't worked very well. Maybe a 2-mana counterspell is pretty good.
And
just
blue,
if you need it.
yeah. And blue doesn't really have modified synergy, and it has ninjutsu wants to throw cards back to their hand. So, yeah, I see what you're saying. Like, this...
Have you ever used this in Limited? Have you ever...
I think once, and it was pretty darn good.
Okay.
But, like, it very much... It's not a card you can play on 2 mana very often.
Yep, gotta have the board, and yeah.
Yep.
It's okay.
I think someone in your Limited is going to say this card's insane, and they're going to prove it to you, but that's not us.
Yeah.
Futurist Operative. 4 mana, 3/4 ninja. As long as it is tapped, it's a human citizen with base power toughness 1/1 and can't be blocked, and then you can tap 3 to untap it.
Oh, that's cool. It
Yeah.
like sneaks in and then you reveal it. That's cool.
Yeah, and one of the things that, for people who don't know, you can attack, it can't be blocked. Once blockers are declared and it can't be blocked, you then untap it. It's a 3/4 again, and it wasn't blocked.
And it also just gets in your ninjutsu guys. But it's 4 mana.
Yeah, it's an expensive ninjutsu trigger.
You probably only want one of these in Limited.
Yeah.
Unless you just have like a ton of really good ninjutsus.
Exactly. And this could actually be a finish for the deck, just because it's constant 3 damage.
Yeah, true. All unblockable things are pretty good in Limited just because of that, yeah.
So...
I like the flavor. I like the style.
This card is good, but you can't have too many.
Yep.
Futurist Sentinel. So this is one of those big cards. 4 mana, 6/6 vehicle, crew 3.
Heck yeah. like.
Needs to exist. Part of Limited format is having cards like this, and we're happy to hear it.
Yep.
Alright.
By the way, if we don't mention its standard viability, that just means it's not viable in standard, and we just assume you should know.
Yeah, sorry. I should probably... That's a much faster theme than say that every time.
Yeah. Just because we forgot to say anything about the last card in the standard, and it's like, well...
Yeah, Essence Capture is just too... Only creatures is too much of a limitation.
Yeah.
Ghost Shintai of Lost Wisdom. 2 mana, 0/4 flyer. At the beginning of your end step, you may pay 1. If you do, target player mills X cards, or X the number of shrines you control. So, most people won't block this, and then you can ninjutsu. It doesn't have to deal damage. And other than that, I don't know what I'm looking at.
Yeah, this is weird. Like, because if you're playing the shrine deck, all the other shrines are going to be way... Like, they're going to be doing things that you'll want to synergize with, not milling. Milling is like, if you're milling people, that's your one focus.
Yeah. And if you're milling, you're not going to be a 5-color deck.
Yeah, so...
And if you're self-milling, you want cards that... There are better cards for self-milling, even in blue, in mono blue.
Maybe you play all 3 blue shrines in a deck. And then you
That'd be drawing cards, drawing more cards, and milling.
Oh, is the second one drawing cards too?
Yep.
Oh.
It's
Yeah,
just
this
a more
is stupid.
fair drawing cards.
This is stupid.
Yeah, I don't understand this one.
Yep. Don't pick it ever. You never want it.
Unless a 2 mana 0/4 flyer is good enough.
You know what? Yeah, maybe you can stall them out and like you'll win by mill in that one limited.
I've
deck
done
that
it
does-
before.
Exactly. There's a limited deck that can do this.
Yeah, I've done it. People hate me, but I've done it several times.
And
that's why there's a special place like layer 3 hell position 314. It's for me. Like it has my name on it specifically for when I play Magic. Guardians of Uburo. 3 mana 3/4 defender. It's a samurai defender. Modified creatures you control can attack as though they didn't have a defender. If you can modify this, I think this is really good. But you have to modify.
Oh yeah, 3 mana 3/4 is sick. And modify seems pretty like it's around. Is modify is equipment?
Equipment counts.
Then yeah, you could definitely do this.
Right.
And it just stops everything at the beginning because like 3/4 is huge for like what we've been looking at.
3/4 stops like. Have we seen a 4-power creature that's cost less than 5?
Nope.
Well, okay, right here, but that's a crew.
Right. Yeah. No, like just vanilla. Yeah, good card.
Yep. Slows them down, and then you have your other cards ninjutsu around it.
Are we done?
Yeah.
Sorry, I just moved on.
Fair enough. Invoke the Wind.
Invoke.
This is the blue Invoke. Gain control of target artifact or creature, untap it. So they've realized that if they have it any cheaper than this, gain control of target's fiend is broken. And so they've decided, okay, we're going to make gain control of fiends super safe. I think this is too safe. Untapping is pretty strong, but other than that, I think this card's a little too safe to be really good.
Yeah, it's a cool effect. I like the flavor of it, you know? Like, the not just the flavor, but it's like 4 blue and 1. It's like a cool, like, staple card that feels like it should be part of the game.
I love the taste of Invoke mana costs.
Yeah, and, like, all of the Invoke stuff. It's cool, but yeah, not... As far as, like, utility, this card isn't that good.
They need to have a big, massive threat, and you're just waiting for them to play that... Like, it's a win more... It's weird. It's like, whether you win or not is... If you have this, whether you win or not is reliant on if they have a big, scary threat for you to take out. And for Constructed, that's... You just can't rely on that.
Yeah, pretty good in Limited. It's so, like, again, like he was saying...
You need to be able to play it in Limited is the hard part.
Yeah, and, like... But it will win you the game.
if you find the right target.
Yeah.
Alright. I do like how they're being safer with the control effects, because, like... I'm not sure if you were around for, I can't even think of its name, but the 7 mana 2/3 that gains control of things. I can't remember the name of the card, but they're like literally a year ago. Standard was broken.
Could it be cast from the graveyard too, or something?
Agent of Treachery, that was it. And yes, that's exactly what the problem was.
I feel like I remember that being around.
This card was the previous gain control of cards, and everyone hated.
You could just flicker it, and then.
Yep, you could flicker it. You could reanimate it, and then it drew you more cards eventually. So you could flicker and reanimate even more. And then it started taking your lands because it's any permanent instead of artifacts and creatures.
Yeah. Stupid card.
Yeah. So Invoke the Winds is that, but more fair, therefore not standard play.
Therefore. Fair means bad.
I mean, yes. Jin Gataxis, Progress Tyrant.
Well, say it right. Progress. Exactly.
Let me get a can opener. That might help. 7 mana 5/5 Phyrexian Predator. Whenever you cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, copy it. You may choose new targets. Whenever opponent only once each turn. Then, whenever opponent casts an artifact, instant, or sorcery spell, counter it once each turn.
Pretty sick. I love it.
Yeah, this card, it's like, some decks will be like, my entire deck's creatures, it doesn't matter. But the decks where this hits, it kills. And I'm talking about Constructed right now, just to be clear. If you can get this out in less than 7 mana, if you can get this out and hold up like Dwari Disruption or some like cheap instant counterspell or something like that, a Fading Hope. The one issue with this is that it doesn't deal with Hullbreaker Horror. That's the only reason I could see this not making it, because Hullbreaker Horror is insane.
Yeah, just get it up for reference.
Yeah.
The thing I don't like about this card is it doesn't do anything when it comes into play. Well, I guess it counters a spell.
Yeah, it counters.
It can counter a spell.
If they're killing it before, the important thing is if they're killing it before it has any effects, it's countering a spell. So basically, it's countering when it comes into play.
Yeah.
So it's fine in there. But Hullbreaker Horrors is 7/8. It's not getting countered from it, and then it could bounce it back to its hand. Because that's an effect, not a spell. So Hullbreaker Horror is why the Progress Tyrant doesn't see play in Standard, if it doesn't see play in Standard. In Limited, if you can get to this 7 mana, I mean, Limited has a lot more creatures.
Yeah, I feel like this isn't even that amazing in Limited, to be honest.
Yeah. My Johnny
Artifact creature.
Yeah. Correct. And the copying makes my Johnny senses tingle, but once each turn shuts them off.
Honestly, I think this is more of a Johnny card than a Timmy card. Because like Timmy
likes Vorinclex.
I like. Is Vorinclex a 7/7?
Vorinclex was the other Praetor from Kaldheim, the 6/6 that doubles +1/+1 counters.
Yeah, I just wanted to do something big. This is like a big boy that does some combo-y things. Yeah. And I don't like the taste of it.
This is a middling boy that locks the other side down.
Mm-hmm. Good card.
Yep. But not. It's like it's compete with Hullbreaker. It doesn't win. I
wouldn't even say it's an auto pick in Limited if you're like really trying to try hard and win. You know.
And that's what I'm saying, because it doesn't counter creatures. I think it just is a little too rough.
Agreed.
The one thing it does for Limited is it means that if they do an alpha swing where they attack with everything, you know they don't have a pump spell because it's getting countered if they do.
Yeah.
Kyrie, the Swirling Sky. 6 mana, 6/6 Dragon Spirit. Flying, Ward 3. Note, because it has Ward 3, this might be the most playable of the dragons.
Nice.
But the problem is, again, Hullbreaker Horror right next to it. Flashing 7 mana, 7/8 that bounces things.
Yeah, every big blue creature has to compete with that, yeah.
Yep, until they ban it, which I really hope they don't.
Is it in Standard a lot?
It's, so with Alrund's Epiphany being gone, it's replaced it.
What is Alrund's Epiphany?
Alrund's Epiphany was...
Is that the extra turn card?
Extra turns, yep.
Okay.
Alrund's Epiphany was banned because it just... Basically, they would duplicate the spell multiple times. So you'd get multiple extra turns and multiple birds. So you could go from no board states to 16 birds and they're dead.
Yeah, okay.
Hullbreaker Horror is a more fair version. And while Allruns was around, people started playing this because they hated Allruns and still was beating decks and being pretty high tier. So, that being said, this is still a good card. It's a 6 mana, hard to kill with Ward. And when it dies, you can return any number of target non-land permanents with total mana value 6 or less to their owner's hands. Note that could be your opponent's and yours. And it also could, because it's mana value 6 or less, you could just destroy every token you don't like seeing on your opponent's side of the board. That is powerful. Or you can mill 6 cards and return up to 2 instant or sorcery cards from your graveyard to your hand.
Nice.
So just,
that could be hella good.
Yeah, card advantage and the selective card advantage.
Yeah.
So...
Sweet. I love this card.
Yeah, if it wasn't for Hullbreaker Horror existing, I'd be hyped about Kyrie, and I'd say this one would see more play than AO. But...
It's a cool card. Big dragon, big boy.
Yeah.
Timmy like big dragon.
Johnny like hope for it, too. Oh, also limited absolute all-star. If you can play, you win.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
March of Swirling Mists. This is another March, so it's a color and X.
Oh, Phase is just an evergreen board now. I didn't know that.
It's weird, because So Phase is a really complicated mechanic from the past, and every once in a while, you'll just randomly see a card that phases things out.
Yeah.
And it's like only 1%. Like, they're just slowly introducing you, hey, Phase is an old keyword. We'd like to bring it back, but it's really complicated, so we're going to do this slowly. And so you can exile any blue cards to reduce this cost by 2, and it's up to X target creatures phase out. And basically, this is kind of like a one-turn board clear, as well as protecting yourself from a board clear. Because you can phase out their creatures so they can't block, or you can phase out your creatures so they don't die. And I think if there's a blue...
True.
If there's a blue tempo deck, this wants it, and this makes it work.
Yeah.
This is one of those cards that being able to just exile a card, like, I'm about to win the board, oh, there was Wrath of Goding, I'm going to tap 1, wipe out these 2 cards to just keep my entire board safe.
Yeah, this is a really good card.
This is, yeah, and there's another combo, we'll get to it later, but just know, up to X target creatures. This, yeah, I think there could be if there is a blue tempo deck, this helps it become viable and helps it make it to tier 1, even if it's just a sideboard card. It's really powerful.
In limited, this isn't a bomb, but
yeah,
it could be good. In limited, this is okay.
Yeah, in limited, you need to know what you're doing before you pick this. Like,
yeah, you idiots.
Yeah, if you don't, if I said phase out, you're like, what does that mean? Don't pick it.
Yeah.
Mind Leak. It is Mind Leak. I thought I misspelled it.
Yeah.
Mind Link Mech. 3 mana, 4/3 vehicle, flying. Whenever Mind Link Mech becomes crewed, for the first time each turn, until end of turn, it becomes a copy of target non-legendary creature that crewed it. Except it's a 4/3 vehicle with flying.
I don't know what this is useful for.
So, you ready for me to show you what it's
Yeah.
useful for? You crew it with Acquisition Octopus. It becomes an Acquisition Octopus. Then you equip Acquisition Octopus to it. You draw 2 cards when it hits them.
Can Mindlink Mech be equipped because it's a copy of a card with Reconfigure? I guess once it becomes...
Oh yeah, you could equip Mindlink Mech to something, but once it's at the end of turn, it falls off.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah, seems pretty good. Definitely just a 4/3 flyer. It's hella good and limited. Yep. Like, even if you're not using the copying.
Johnnies go wild over this card. I don't think they're going to work as well as we hope, but I'm happy to see it. We're not going to get tier 1. I'm sorry, buddies. We're not Spikes. We're Johnnies. Love it, though. Mirror Shell Crab.
Yes.
7 mana, 5/7, Ward 3. So big boy when awesome. And if you can't play the big boy, it has a 3 mana channel and it counters target spell or ability unless its controller pays 3. This might see constructed play because it counters abilities as well.
Really?
It's the only way to stop channel effects. It's the you can stop entering the battlefield triggers and cause some good cards to just be bad cards. You can like there's a lot countering an ability is actually pretty darn strong. And the fact that it could also just be your end game for your control deck. Like this is a 3 mana counter target ability could be pretty rough.
I believe you. Yeah, pretty cool. I love playing these things in limited. Just because big boys that you can. Just a 5/7. Like,
yep.
Nice.
Who doesn't love playing a big Crabbo?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't have much to say about it besides that.
Ward 3 also means it's really hard to kill. So.
Yeah, you have to like spend a whole turn killing it.
So yeah, Mirror Shell Crab is awesome. Might even see constructed play. It'd be weird, but it could do it. Mnemonic Sphere. 2 mana artifact, then you then tap 2 more to sacrifice it to draw 2 cards, or if you don't think you could do that, you just pay 1 mana, discard it, and draw a card. So it's a cycle, or it's a 4 mana divination, where half that mana can be instant speed.
Yeah, pretty sick. Good card. Yeah, you take it as a card advantage card in limited. There are...
You don't want too many, but you like them.
Yeah. I didn't see much... if you control X artifacts or like sacrifice. This is like a Mirrodin card that ended up in here, you know?
Yeah, exactly. It's the spell bomb. It's a spell bomb.
Yeah, it's literally a spell bomb. It's okay. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like you don't want too many of these. You need to be
maybe 1 in limited. Yeah.
I would say it's extra good if you have the 2 mana counter spells, so you can hold up the 2 mana. If they don't play anything worth countering, you sacrifice it instead.
Yes.
But so like a deck archetype loves this, but you might not be that deck archetype.
Yeah.
But still being a loot is pretty nice. Mobilizer Mech. 2 mana, 3/4 flying, but cruise for 3. When it becomes crewed, up to 1 other target vehicle you control becomes an artifact creature, so it double cruise. And it's a 2 mana, 3/4 flying vehicle.
Even without a lot of vehicles, yeah, you can still play this in limited.
Yep.
Good card. Hella good.
Yeah, 2 mana, 3/4 flying is just really good stat line.
But we'll see if you get the crew for it. But yeah.
Yeah. Well, if you have a 3 mana 3/2, it crews immediately.
True. And also that white fox, the 1 mana 2/1. Yeah.
Yep. And all those there's a few other cards that make colorless pilot creature tokens that crew for as if they had 3 power.
Oh yeah.
Moon Circuit Hacker. So this I think is going to be a big part of the ninja decks for limited. 2 mana 2/1 human ninja. Ninjutsu's for only 1. When it deals combat damage to a player, you may draw a card. If you do, you discard a card unless you ninjutsu'd it, unless it entered the battlefield this turn.
Nice. That's hella good. Yeah, you want to pick this in limited all the time.
Yeah. If there's a ninja deck in constructed, you might just see this anyways.
Attack with the Moon Circuit Hacker, they don't block ninjutsu it for another Moon Circuit Hacker,
Yep.
just so you get the full card.
Or if there's any good ETB effects, it's a 1 mana ninjutsu.
Yeah, this is sick. I love this card.
Yeah, this card might see constructed play if there's a good spot for it. And it's an enchantment creature. I'm not sure if that's valuable.
I mean, it is, but...
Yeah. Not what we're talking about. 2 mana 2/1 as well, so it's a bear. It trades
exactly.
with bears.
Yeah.
So you can just play as a 2-drop if you need it. Moonfolk Puzzle Maker. 3 mana 1/4. Whenever flyer.
Artifact creature.
Whenever it becomes tapped, scry 1. You're using this for ninjutsu, I feel like. Or
True.
like other cards that tap artifacts you control. You're using this to be tapped down. Otherwise, 4 toughness does stop things. This is like, I am playing the blue slow deck. This is a card that helps me out in a lot of ways.
Yep. It's good for stalling the mid game in limited.
Technically deals damage.
Supports your deck until you get the big bombs.
Yep.
It'd be cool to play a bunch of these just on a deck with a bunch of big crew vehicles.
Another thing you can use it for tapping, Moonsnare Prototype. 1 mana blue artifact, tap and an untapped artifact or creature you control to add a colorless. And then also, if you have enough mana already, you can instead channel it for 5, and the owner of target non-land permanent puts it on the top or bottom of their library.
Nice.
That is a Drowning Lock. That is one of the most powerful effects in Limited that they allow for common cards.
But the opponent gets to choose?
The opponent does get to choose.
That makes
You choose the creature, they decide whether it's at the top or bottom.
That's good. That makes it not so broken, yeah.
Yep. And the fact that helps you ramp to that point, and that we have like that massive crab.
Yeah, massive crab, and you could use the artifact could be this thing too.
Yep.
So that's a use for that, or your vehicles that you can't crew yet.
Oh man, yeah. There's.
Yeah.
And also, it could just do creatures. So, you're going to have ways to make this make mana. Gosh, does that mean this is a Lawnmower Elf? It's a 1-mana card that taps for mana.
It's like a little bit laggier Lawnmower Elf, because Lawnmower Elf you can use in the next turn, but this one you probably have to wait till turn 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's also an unkill. It's also a lot harder to kill. Lawnmower. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think we might be underestimating this. The more I think about this, the more I think someone might show us playing Standard. I would not be too surprised. It'd be weird if it made...
Mana is always sketchy, yeah. Free
Yeah.
mana. Well, not free, but like, yeah. Mana rocks, yeah. Especially a 1-mana mana rock.
Exactly. Moonsnare Specialist. 4-mana 2/2, ninjutsus for 3. When it enters the battlefield, return up to 1 target creature to its owner's hand.
Nice. That's hella
Yeah,
good.
and another thing
It
that's...
doesn't even have to hit the player.
Yeah,
but.
and here's a combo that I want to make sure people understand you could do. So this is 3-mana 2 ninjutsu. So let's say you attack with 2 creatures. One of them makes it through. You can ninjutsu it into Moonsnare Specialist to bounce the creature that missed. And then before it deals combat damage, you can then ninjutsu it back into this Moon Circuit Hacker, and it deals combat damage as this one, drawing you a card, and the Specialist is still in your hand for next time you swing in.
Nice.
So, like, this card can basically make it so other colors can't play big creatures.
Yeah, this makes you want to play the ninja deck.
Yeah, this... And the fact that these both are common, these are like... That little combo that I just told you might be a staple to the ninja deck in blue.
In limited, yeah.
Yeah.
This card could also just be played randomly in standard. Any, like, enter the battlefield, return something else, pretty good.
Yep. Well, this cost in standard is usually exiling it.
Oh, okay.
So, but, yeah.
Never mind.
Still a nice card. Still a very nice card. Network Disruptor. 1-mana, 1/1 flyer. When Network Disruptor enters the battlefield, tap target permanent. So this helps your ninjas that can't fly get in, and then later ninjutsus itself. So, and then it's 1 mana, so you just play it again next time. This, like, these 3 commons, they're all common, and they make the ninja deck work.
Yeah. I ain't got much to add to that. It's hella good.
Yep.
I love the Moonfolk.
Love the Moonfolk. These are humans, though, but... Love ninjas, and then this Moonfolk's like, I'm a rogue. We'll let you pass. You're a Moonfolk. Planar Incision. 2-mana instant. Blink an artifact or creature, and when it comes back to play, has a +1/+1 counter on it.
Nice.
Yep.
Save a guy. Buff it'll augment it, or whatever it's called.
Yep.
Modify it.
And that's... I'm not sure there's much more to say about it.
Yeah.
Prosperous Thief. Oh, hold up. Planar Incision with, like, Moonsnare Specialist.
Oh, yeah.
There are some cards that like entering the battlefield because we are in the ninjutsu colors. So maybe this is a bit better.
Isn't that card... Wasn't... They had the white version of that card in the first Kamigawa set?
Oh,
It was the same thing. But it wasn't blink. It, like...
Search.
Until it was you removed it, and then at the end of turn it came into play with the plus
Yeah,
on it.
something like that.
It was like Otherworldly Journey or something.
I think that was actually the name of it, Otherworldly Journey.
And I remember it being used in standard. Just because it entered... Yep, there it is.
Yeah, it was till the next end step that comes into play, but basically same effect.
Yeah, literally, yeah.
And yeah, if that sees play in standard, maybe this might see... If we get that tempo blue deck that we hope for, maybe this comes into it.
Yeah.
Prosperous Thief. 3-mana, 3/2. Ninjutsus for only 2. Whenever 1 or more ninja or rogue creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, create a treasure token.
Nice.
So even if the Network Disruptor, even if you run out of ninjas in your hand, this just starts popping out treasure tokens. It's only 1 a turn, but who cares? That's... Treasure is the mana which gets you to those big boys that will win you the game.
Yeah.
Or to the card draw.
Which I haven't seen a lot of in this set, honestly.
The
There's
big boys?
crab. Yeah, I mean the rares.
Yeah. Big boy was common. Crab boy?
No, that's what I meant, besides the crab.
Yeah. Alright. The reality chip. Here's a rare big boy. 2 mana 0/4 Equipment Jellyfish. You may look at the top card of your library at any time. As long as the reality chip is attached to a creature, you may play lands and cast spells from the top of your library. Reconfigures for 3. So I remember someone saying that this might see Constructed play as like a value engine. I don't see it. You need another creature in play. That creature needs to not get killed in response. It costs 3 mana each time you fail to do that.
But just being able to like flip over the top of your deck and just
Once it's reconfigured on, the fact that the top of your deck becomes playable is pretty insane. I just don't think it will survive in Standard.
Yeah. I haven't played Standard, but yeah, I just... And then what are you doing? What are you doing with that?
Well, I mean, honestly, having the top of your deck is probably enough.
Yeah?
Like, it's just so much card advantage.
Yeah. So I can see it being scary, so...
And for Limited, I think this is, like...
Oh, yeah, this is hell good Limited.
Yeah, it's the value engine of your deck.
Reality. It's got 4 toughness.
Yep. 4 toughness is actually pretty nice. Reality Heist. 7 mana instant, but costs 1 less for each artifact you control. Look at the top 7 cards of your library. You reveal up to 2 artifact cards and put them into your hand. The rest go at the bottom. I mean, this is for the artifact deck.
Yep.
We might have some incremental... The fact that it's instant speed is pretty nice.
And 2 mana. I feel like this is one of those cards that sneaks its way into Constructed, you know?
Yeah.
Limited, you could use it. You could use it in Limited. But it's not going to be insane.
I think the problem for it in Constructed is it only gets you artifact cards, so you have to be a hyper artifact dedicated deck. Yeah. You can't reduce its cost with treasure tokens because you just gain more treasure. You know? Because it's just artifacts you control.
Wait, what? You can't reduce its cost with treasure?
No, you can reduce its cost with treasure, but if you're doing that, then you're not getting any cards because it's only grabbing artifacts.
Oh, you're saying like if you're only relying on treasures to reduce it. Then,
yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
So, it has to be an artifact-heavy deck, and so I need to see that before I just say, yeah, good. As you said, it might sneak its way to Constructed, though. Might have to be a sideboard for the more grindy matchups, but it could find its way. Replication Specialist. 5 mana 3/4 flyer. Whenever a non-token artifact enters the battlefield, you may pay 2 and create a token that's a copy of it.
Whoa.
If you have cards for this, this is insane. The one thing limiting it is its cost, which is why it ain't seen Constructed.
Yeah, but in Limited this is sick, because even just a 5 mana 3/4 flyer is dope.
Mm-hmm.
And then now all your vehicles, you get 2 of them.
Or your artifact creatures.
Or your artifacts that draw 2 cards. Or yeah, this is good.
Oh my god, enter the battlefield. Are there any artifact ninjas? That's enchantment, that's creature. Okay. But if there were artifact ninjas, you make double ninjas.
For the ninjutsus?
Yeah.
Crazy. Hella good.
Yep. This could be I think this could be a finisher for your ninja deck.
Yeah, you don't even need a lot of artifacts in your deck to play that in Limited, yeah. Just play it.
Doesn't even need to be a ninja deck. Yeah, just any deck with some artifacts. Like 5 mana 3/4, as you were saying. Cyber Trespassers. 5 mana 3/5. Moonfolk Rogue. Channels. You tap up to 2 target creatures you don't control. They don't untap during the controller's next untap step.
Interesting.
I feel like it's actually used more for the channel ability.
Yeah.
And the 5 mana 3/5 is just the tacked on, hey, if you need a body.
Yeah, the 5 mana 3/5 is not good.
Yeah.
But the channel's pretty good.
Yeah, the channel, specifically for, like, the ninja deck. So in case you're wondering, you can, as they're getting ready to declare combats, you can tap them down so they can't attack. They stay tapped for that turn. Then it's your turn, you attack in. Next turn, they still don't untap, so you get 2 free swing-ins while stopping their swing-in. And for the rogue, I think even if you're like a blue-white partial samurai deck, like tapping other creatures so your one can attack in alone, the more tempo-oriented your deck is, the better this card is. But this is 4 mana, so doesn't fit your curve. Short Circuit. 2 mana, flash enchantment aura, enchant artifact or creature. As long as it's a creature, it gets -3/-0 and loses flying. It's a card. I think this is one of those cards that don't make it anywhere.
It's like, if you don't have a lot of removal, it's fine. If you're playing like mono blue and limited, yeah. But yeah, you're right. It's like just pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Sky Swimmer Koi. 4 mana, 3/3 flyer. which is a stat line in limited. Just letting you know.
This is a good card.
Yeah. Whenever an artifact enters the battlefield under your control, you may draw a card. If you do, discard.
This is a good card.
Yep.
You want to pick this a lot, especially all the flyers I've been seeing. Like, this competes with like every common, uncommon flyer. So
yeah, I will note that there seems to be a lot more flyers in blue than white had, and usually white blue is the flyer color.
Yeah.
So, like, if they're not blue, so far this goes uncontested. So, well, there's the 3-mana 3/2 vehicle, but
vehicle.
well, it competes with vehicles. You have a fish that beats out a tank.
Yeah.
And yeah,
what? Spell Pierce?
Yeah,
No
Spell
way.
Pierce is reprinted. This card sees standard play. Probably will see standard play again.
That's insane.
Yeah, no, it's insane. That
Limited, though, it might not be that good. Just
Yeah.
because, yeah.
Limited non-creature is a big cost.
Yeah.
Suit Up. 3 mana instant until end of turn. Target creature or vehicle becomes an artifact creature with base power toughness 4/5 and draw a card.
Yeah, that's a good card. This is a sick combat trick.
Yeah. So the thing with ninjutsu is with this, you can basically attack with 2 creatures. Instead of ninjutsuing the one that did get blocked, you just pump up the one that did and kill them.
Yeah, this is a sick card.
Yeah, this... If there is a kind of ninjutsu deck in Standard, this might actually see some play.
In Standard? You think this goes in Standard? Because it
Draw a
draws?
card is huge. So
trust
for
you,
people
but-
that don't know, I think it's called Startling Development. There you are. So this saw some play because it was a nice little combat trick and it cycled for the cycle
but the
deck.
cycling deck was insane.
Yeah, the cycle deck, having cycle was super massive on this. But what I'm saying is that this effect, they've been trying to make good for a while, and this, I think, might be the first time it's good. In Limited, this seems absolutely insane. Constructed, there needs to be the deck for it. I don't think... The Tempo Blue deck, if it sees play...
I feel like you'd have to like copy this spell or something for it to be like good enough.
Good point. You need a 1-mana 1/1 that's worth playing and keeping safe. Yeah.
That too.
I do see the problems with it now. I have high hopes for it, but I hope too high. My Johnny sense is shot too high when
Yeah,
I saw
I don't know. I mean, you know more about Standard than me, but
I think you're correct in there. I think that's a good point. You made good points that I didn't consider. I will say for Limited, I love this card. It makes ninjutsu scary because if I don't block, they ninjutsu. If I do block, they kill. It's like there's no winning once Suit Up is in your deck.
yeah.
And they don't know if that card's in your hand, so you're able to attack in at higher levels and like can they make you have it? It's a really good card. Even if it doesn't see play, the threat of it is good enough. Even if it's not in your deck, it could be valuable. 3 mana. Okay, Tamishi, Reality Architect. 3 mana 2/3 Moonfolk Wizard. Whenever one or more non-creature permanents are returned to your hand, draw a card, but only once each turn. Tap a white and X. Return a land you control to its owner's hand. Return target artifact or enchantment card with mana value X or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. Activate only as a sorcery. This card.
Turn a land you control, return. Artifact or enchantment.
And keep in mind, returning the land the first time you do it draws you a card.
Whoa. Yeah, it seems pretty good. I don't know how it would be used. But like,
Yeah, it's one of those cards where it's like I'm not exactly sure how I'm supposed to use it, but like just reanimating an artifact creature for the cost
Yeah.
of. So.
And is this the only Moonfolk with an old school Moonfolk ability?
Yes, this is the only Moonfolk.
And it's white for some reason.
Yeah.
Cool.
I will state for Standard, like there is Treasure Vault. It says return an artifact. I forgot there's so many treasure cards. But just as it has mana value X or less, you can return a land to your hand and get a land into play immediately.
Oh, nice.
So there are some combos that can be pulled off with Tamishi. Also, like obviously if you get the green play additional land each turn, well then you'd have to be 3-color. I'm not going to be building the Johnny deck just yet, but I have high hopes. Right now, probably not. We're going to need to see the deck that can make this work.
Yeah.
It's not really... This is definitely a late game card. You want either return big artifacts or You definitely don't want to activate this more than once per turn, unless you have some way to keep recurring those lands to play.
I think it's an auto pick and limited too. It's just you'll have cards to use this with, and it's a 3-mana 2/3.
Yeah, and it's artifact or enchantments.
Yeah.
Like it turns your lands from dead draws to helping you get bigger artifacts and enchantments from your grave. Yeah, auto pick and limited. Tamio's Completion. Is that? Do we just spell that as completion, or is it completion, or
pronounce it? Yeah, I don't know.
All right.
I think it's just completion, but it just means something different. Yeah.
Just completion, just spelled wrong.
Yeah.
Or spelled completely. 4 mana flash enchantment. Enchant artifact, creature, or planeswalker. Tap enchant permanent. If it's an equipment, unattach it. Enchant permanent loses all abilities and doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. This is blue kill.
Yep. Yeah, seriously. Oh, it gets planeswalkers too. Yeah. It's a blue murder spell.
Yep. Obviously, these sort of spells are not good enough in constructed, and you need some really good reason to be running enchantment auras for this to see play in constructed. So of course, this goes in the Lightpaws deck.
Oh yeah, Lightpaw can do this stuff, but doesn't Lightpaw connect to your own creatures only?
Well, you play this, and then you get a different aura to put on Lightpaws.
Okay.
Tezzeret, Betrayer of Flesh. 4 mana, 4 loyalty planeswalker. The first activated ability of an artifact costs 2 less. So note this does work with reconfigure and things like that, so that's very nice. Draw +1, draw 2 cards, then discard them 2 unless you discard an artifact card. So if you are discarding artifacts, it's card advantage, otherwise it's card selection. -2, target artifact becomes an artifact creature. If it's not a vehicle, it has base power and toughness 4/4. And if you can get -6, whenever an artifact you control becomes tapped, draw a card.
And that becomes an artifact creature is not until end of turn, so it just activates your crew, your vehicles forever.
Yeah, that's one of the things that a lot of people brought up. That might just make this card really good, like insanely good.
Dude, it's +1 is a thirst for. Oh, did you say that? It's +2 is a thirst for knowledge.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah.
Well,
or what's it called? It's not thirst for knowledge.
No, it's called thirst for knowledge.
Okay.
It's actually right here. Thirst for knowledge.
Oh, I didn't even see it. Nice.
This typically draws 3. So the first time you use it, it's not a thirst for knowledge because it costs you a card to +1. But the second, if you use it on later turns, it's a thirst for knowledge because it's not costing a card anymore. Honestly, I feel like if this card is good, it's because you could -2 and then -2 again and be good with that.
Yeah, pretty good card.
The fact that also loots and does like a good loot with artifacts, just extra meat. Constructed, I mean limited. If you have just artifacts that aren't like
this isn't like gonna break every deck in limited, but yeah, if you like you said, just have some artifacts, it's good. Turns that one 1/4 Moonfolk artifact creature to a 4/4. It just kind of buffs some of your artifact creatures. Yeah, it's good.
Oh yeah, you can target creature artifacts. It doesn't say not target non-creature artifact. It just target artifact because it's an artifact creature. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. And then Thirst for Knowledge. This is a card that, as long as you're discarding an artifact, it's good enough and limited.
Yeah.
Constructed, this kind of has been phased out by now.
Really? Dang. Even if you're not discarding artifact, I feel like that's still good. It's instant speed card draw and like, yeah.
There's also a Thirst for Meaning in Constructed right now, which is you discard a basic land instead, and so you don't want so many basic lands.
Yeah, it's way better.
Yeah. Thousand-Faced Shadow. 1 mana. So this is your ninja enabler for Constructed. 1 mana, 1/1 human ninja, ninjutsu for 4. It's a flyer, and when it enters the battlefield from your hand, if it's attacking, so if you ninjutsu'd it, you create a token that's a copy of another target attacking creature, and it enters the battlefield tapping and attacking as well.
And it's like they haven't.
And they didn't block it, so it's an extra ninjutsu.
Well.
So it's a ninjutsu.
This is almost like a non-ninja ninjutsu card, right? Because it's like you want to copy. You want a ninja in cards that aren't just like weak ninjas.
Oh, I get what you're saying.
I would assume. I don't know. What do you see it used for?
I just see it used as a trigger for flying ninjas, and then just later having So I will get to it. There's a card called Satoru Umezawa that we will get to in multicolor, which I think is the way that ninjas in standard work. And this basically, early game, it triggers your ninja cards, and late game, this doubles up your Hullbreaker horrors.
Oh, yeah, true.
But
yeah, pretty good. Just a 1/1 flyer also, yeah.
Yeah, 1/1 flyer is sometimes just good enough in those decks, which makes me wonder if like flyers will start being good in the format just for being flyers and nothing else.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's blue.
Blue.
All right. Whew.
Well, not many big fatties.
I mean, Mirror Shell Crab.
I mean, even like the mid boys, it's like barely in. Maybe that's normal though. I don't know.
Futurist
Just looking at
Sentinel.
them all like, I guess they do have some big ones, yeah.
Yeah. You just love it being big fat. You just want to go back to Zendikar.
Or a core, yeah.
Original Zendikar, Tarkir.
I guess this is pretty normal. Oh, you got some 3/4s, some 4/3s. White is just a lot weenier. Then blues has the least amount of creatures, so I'm just biased right now.
Yeah, and we got 2 big fatties in common.
Yeah, true.
I get it. We didn't get Hullbreaker. We didn't get to the competitor to Hullbreaker Horror. Or we did, and they're a tiny little fatty. But Mirror Shell Crab. Do not be sad about Mirror Shell Crab.